डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी।
Namaskar, welcome again. We are actually dealing with software engineering video lectures. We started with block 1, completed unit 1 and 2, and today we'll be looking at unit 3, which is about software project maintenance. Alright, so during this unit you will learn software configuration management, what is software, how it needs to be configured, alright, this software configuration management. Then second we will learn is software maintenance process, alright, how we would be maintaining our software, right, and what are the procedural steps to maintain it, right. Then we will be seeing is project planning, how we would plan our project, right. We will be seeing documentation standard, that as we saw in the last unit, that documentation is utmost important in any software project, all right. What are the standards to be followed in preparing the documentation, right. We will be seeing version control, how we will be controlling the version, all right. And let us start now with unit 3.1, that is introduction. Okay, before we start with the core portion of this unit, let us understand that what and how a particular software maintenance is required, what are its products, all right, and how do we configure its management, how would we configure the software management, all right. It is the modification of a software product after delivery to correct faults, to improve performance or other attributes, or to adapt the product to a changed environment. So whenever I have my particular software already developed, all right, and I want to bring some modification in my software that is which is already developed, to modify it probably for a better performance, to improve its performance, all right, or other attributes, we generally are doing software maintenance, all right. So software maintenance is nothing but basically modifying already developed software, all right, to increase the performance, to increase the efficiency of the work, right. Modifications are essential because why do we require to our software to be modified, all right. Let us see what are the reasons for it. First is market conditions. Probably in market, whatever software that we gave previously would now not be suitable with the market people, right, it needs upgradation. Then in that case we need to modify our software. Second is client requirements. If my client has XYZ software and now they want some other features to be put into that particular software, then that is called as client requirements. So according to client requirement, we might be required to maintain our software and bring upgradation in our software. Third is host modifications. Somebody is hosting already that software and now they themselves want it to be modified a bit, all right, then in that case also we need to maintain our software and we need to bring upgradation in the software. Fourth is organization changes. If whenever I gave my software to a particular organization, that was during that time, now there are certain organizational changes, there are certain structural changes that is followed in the organization, then in that case we need to bring modification in the software. Now next, what is software configuration management, all right. Before we see to the slides, let us see this diagram, right. Software configuration management includes all the phases that are there for software process, all right. It includes analysis and design, plannings and specifications, of course, all right. Then implementation, where we code actually testing, releasing, maintenance, it includes everything, all right. So when I say that I am supposed to configure my software, it starts from the scratch, that is from the planning till the maintenance phase, all right. Now let us see what it is. Configuration management is a discipline which will find out, coordinate, approves or disapprove and implement the changes that appears in object that are mainly applied to construct and maintain the software systems, all right. So software configuration is actually altogether a different discipline only, which will help you to configure your software maybe to the approval or to the disapproval of your particular software system, Alright. For example, if you need certain changes, if you need certain modifications to bring in into your particular software, then you need to configure your software, and when you configure your software, it might be approved or it might be disapproved by your software system. Right. So it is altogether a different discipline. It is an integral part of software development. As said, it is an integral part of your software development. It lies from starting from the first development stage, that is planning, till its last development stage, that is maintenance. Alright, so it is integral to the software development process. Alright, it carries following elements: component elements, process elements, construction elements, alright, human elements. Now, we will see to each of these elements a bit in detail. What are component elements? For my software, what all components are required? Alright, all those are included in component elements. Process elements: what are the processes that I am going to follow to configure my software? Alright, for building up my software, maybe bringing up the upgradation, I need what kind of process? Maybe it starts with 5 processes. So 5 processes in line: process 1, then process 2, then task 3, 4 and 5, right? I can say my process is my task also, right? So that is process elements. Then construction elements: how would I construct my particular software? Would it be process 1 always first, or would it be process 2 always first? Alright, I need to construct my elements. And human elements, because everything cannot be automated, right? I definitely need my human power. I definitely need human resources to manage and configure my software. So that includes human elements. Now, software configuration helps in what? Alright, it helps in dealing with the technical difficulties of project plan. Probably if you come across some technical difficulty in your project plan, if you come across some technicality, there is some problem with the technicalities of your software, then in that case you can configure your software which will help you to avoid those technicalities, alright, avoid those indifferences in the technicalities. Then improves productivity with increase of coordination among team members. Alright, because of software configuration, the team members that are there who are into software process development, alright, they are focusing on more kind of quality, more kind of improvised productivity, more kind of efficiency with the software. Alright, so that can be brought with software configuration. Sorting out any miscommunication among the members. Alright, if there comes across any miscommunication among the members who are developing the software, then in that case also software configuration helps into that. Alright, helps in controlling the basic elements like software objects. Alright, it helps you to control the software objects whatsoever are involved in your software development. Alright, it helps to control your program code, right? And the entire program code can be configured, can be reconfigured as per our requirements. Alright, test the data. Of course, whenever I build up some software, testing is the most essential part of my software project, right? And whatever software that I develop, I cannot tell it that it is going to be 100% perfect until and unless I don't do the thorough testing to it, right? So it can test data. Alright, test the output, that whether I am getting a proper output or not. Alright, so all this. Then design the documents, because whenever I test my data, alright, whenever I test data, I definitely have to now put it on the paper. So I call that phase as designing I call that phase as document designing, right? And then I prepare user manual, because my particular documentation which is prepared is of course something which will describe what all process is there in my software, how and what are the technicalities, what are the features, what are the characteristics that my particular software is providing, alright, including its designing phase, including its analysis and all those stuff. And user manual will describe what an end user is supposed to perform, what are the steps he or she is supposed to perform, what all software can do, what all software cannot do, right? So that includes user manual. Alright, let us see next, what are the advantages of software configuration. Very first is, it helps in lowering of redundant work. Now what is redundant work? Redundant work is something that is which is repeatedly done. Alright, so when there is redundancy in the work, your work gets repeatedly, there is so much of same work being repeated, right? So in order to reduce your redundancy of the work, alright, we have software configuration. Then it helps in reducing problems related to configuration. Any problems that is related with the configuration part of my software, of course, can be managed with the help of software configuration. Alright, it helps in building team coordination, as said, if there is any miscommunication in the team, right, or maybe a team is working for an improvised performance or efficiency of a software, then it brings team members together. So it helps in building the team coordination. Right. Then next is it helps in managing tools that are required in building the configuration. All right, because I cannot keep my software configuration except without any use of tools, right? I definitely have to use certain tools to configure my software. So it helps in managing the tools that are required in building the configuration. Then it makes sure that all bugs get stressed out from its source, right? As said, it tests the data and it tests the output, right? Because it tests all these things, all the bugs that comes maybe across sometimes in the software can be traced out easily with the help of my software configuration management. All right, now unit 3.3 is software maintenance process. Alright, before we start with what is software maintenance process, let me get you all clear with that a particular software is configured properly, but for its configuration, after its configuration, I cannot use my software very much abruptly. I need to maintain it as well. Now, maintenance doesn't say that you are supposed to always keep your software, you should restart your software, you should refresh your software. No, you cannot do that, right? In fact, I need to change its version sometimes, right? I need to be updated with my software, right? Like you would be knowing, you would be using antivirus softwares, right? The antivirus software that you are using, probably after a month, 2 months, it says that now an upgradation is there in the software, you need to update your antivirus. So you update it, right? So all that is called as software configuration management, but in order to update it, after you update it, now you need to maintain it thoroughly. Alright, so that includes software maintenance process. Let us see the need. Why do we need this? To support many key features and product lines which are applied in daily operational cycles. Whenever I am using my software, if I do not maintain it daily, probably a time will come that my software will will not be efficient enough to work. Right? So basic need is to support many key features. Right? Use fixes bugs which are reactive to errors and omissions. Now, if I keep my software updated, if I keep my software thoroughly maintained, right, then any bugs or maybe any errors that will come in the future or that are coming currently will be fixed upon with the help of my software maintenance. It comprises of implementation of process. Alright, I can implement a process, alright, and with the help of implementation of process, I of course thoroughly used for, it is used for thoroughly maintaining of my software. Alright, then problem and modification analysis process, I can modify my analysis, I can even find out the problems that are related with my analysis phases, alright, and that helps me to help the software maintenance process. Then process acceptance of modification. Alright, if any modification is there, as said that software configuration management has modification, right, involved in it. So if any modification is there, my process is acceptance to that modification or not, my process is accepting that modification or not is of course there with this software maintenance. Exceptional migration process features, right, if any exceptional migration process features are required, for example use of some external softwares, alright, to configure my particular software, then in that case also software maintenance process is there. Alright, now there are phases which are there, steps for software process maintenance. Now if you see, before we move to this, there are basically 4 different steps. Requirements, design and coding to be included in one, that is implementation sometimes, right? Then testing is there and integration is there. Let us see these steps. First is requirements. This requirements is nothing but the requirement analysis that you do from your customers, right? The customer requirements that you gather, right? Then there is design. Design is something that after you get your requirements, the customer requirements, you design out, you lay out a plan that how you'll be doing the coding, right? The configuration, the planning, all right, the scheduling, the budget, the time schedule, and everything comes under designing. Then there is coding phase, right? Coding is something where you implement now your design into an actual product, actual source code, right? Then testing, as said that I cannot only code my project, I cannot keep on coding my project. What if there are some errors, some bugs, right? So I need to test it out, so it is testing. Lastly, integration. Now when you integrate it means, I said in the previous unit that my software is divided into modules, right? Module 1, 2, 3 and that are called as units actually. Now this modules, when I need to put it into an entire software package, I need to integrate module 1 with my module 2, module 2 with my module 3, right? So that is called as integration. Okay. Software maintenance categories are, what are the categories of software maintenance? First, corrective, alright. When I have to implement software maintenance, whatever software maintenance I am doing, it should be corrective enough, it should be very, very correct, right. Then adaptive, any changes that comes under my software should be maintained automatically. I should be adaptive to my any new changes that comes into my software, right. Then perfective, whatever changes that are implemented should be correct as well as they should be perfect. Perfect in what sense? That whatever the implementation has been done, whatever changes have been configured inside my software should give me a perfect and accurate result, right. Then preventive, if any bugs are there, right, or any errors or maybe some kind of security break happens because of that feature that is added in software, then it is not preventive enough, so it should be preventive, right. Okay. Now project planning, this is our next topic, project planning. So before we move to what is project planning, all of you know what is planning, right? Planning is something that we do. For example, if somebody tells you that you are supposed to go for a picnic, right, we plan out before 2 days that what will be what we would be taking up, right. Maybe in picnic I'll be wearing this kind of clothes, maybe I'll be taking up this amount of food, I'll ask my mother to prepare this food, that food and all those stuff, right. So we do planning, right. So similarly, when I am designing any software, when I am developing any project, I need to definitely plan it out, right. So project planning, it includes calculation involving in project completion process within a particular time frame, right. So my project, whatsoever the cost is involved in building up my project is what we call it as budget, right. So that budget should be discussed, it should be planned, and according to that budget what project I am going to prepare and in within what time frame, right, start date and what would its end date be, right. So that date, the time frame, it should complete within that, and all this is called as planning. So we call it as project planning, right. Project planning involves basically 4 different things. First is setting of objectives. I cannot start building up a project without any objective, right. If somebody is taking you to picnic, it has an objective that you should get, after a lot of studies you should get the refreshing air, you should feel fresh, right, and the things that are there into your mind should wipe off, right, and you should get relaxed. So that is basic objective. So similarly, when I am planning some project, alright, I have to have some objective behind it. So setting up the objective. Then next is locating the deliverables, right. Locating the deliverable says that when I have an decided objective with my customer, right, now what will I give to my customer, all right, what form of it would be there, what are its features, the characteristics, and everything is called as locating the deliverables, right. So what my project software would deliver to my customer is called as locating the deliverables. Then schedule planning, right. As said, my particular software or my project should fall into a particular time frame, right. The time frame is nothing but the starting date from where I start building up my software, and an end date when my software is altogether ready to be deployed on the customer desktop, right, or maybe customer server. Then in that case I call it as a scheduled planning, right. So schedule planning is something which starts with a particular date and should end up at a particular date only, or maybe before that, right. So that is called as scheduled planning. And designing supporting plans, all right. When I have I'm building some software, right. Sometimes I need some external things also, right, or maybe I need some supportive plans, all right. There needs to be supportive tools, maybe some supportive technologies, all right. So that includes designing the supporting plans. Okay. It is found that software planning starts with statement of work that does other constraints and goals which shows and bound the software project, all right. So my software planning always starts with a statement of work. Statement of work is something that what I am supposed to do with my project, all right, what am I supposed to work, all right, and how should that be there, right. So that constraint and the goal is there, all right. Then the software planning process carry out certain steps which will analyze the size of software work, all right. Now what would be the size of my software? Would it be a very small kind of software? Would it be a large software handling some other, some basic functionalities of the entire company, right. So that is called as size of a software, and probably in our unit 2 only we even learned about software sizing, right. So size of a software, work products and resources needed in order to have a schedule. So in order to plan out my schedule that I said in the previous slide, all right, we need to remember the size of the software, then find and assess my software risks, all right, any risk that is there associated with the software that I am going to build up, right, that risk should be found out and it should be assessed thoroughly, so that risk would get avoided or maybe would be prevented, right. Then negotiate commitments, all right. If your customer is saying some XYZ functionality should be there, all right, and you find that no, that particular functionality requires a lot of time to implement, right, then you can negotiate on the commitments, all right, or maybe your project delivery that is there is happening maybe on the second day, right, or maybe day after tomorrow, then you are not able to reach up to that, then you negotiate with the commitments that I will provide you your software package maybe after 5 days, right. So that is negotiation that you carry out. All right. Project planning is found that iterating with such step is required to have the plan for the software project. All right. So whenever I am building my software project, my project plan says that it is an iterative process. All right. And when I do the iteration, I should have plan for my software project. I hope you remember what is iteration. Iteration is continuous cycle, right? A cyclic process. All right. Then it is found that this is very important, it is found that the initial activity in software project planning is determination of a software scope, right. Now software scope, I have discussed what is software scope. A software scope means the actual operation that is going to be carried out by the software and its plus points and limitations. Now let us say I have one software already developed. Now what is software scope? Any software documentation always starts with a software scope. Now scopes determines that what can my software do, all right, what is my software capable of doing, all right, and what are its plus points, that is its advantages, its pros, right, and what are its cons, that is limitations, all right. So my project scope actually describes my project in a very just manner, all right, in a very short manner, stating that what all my project can do, what are its plus points and what are its negative points or maybe its limitations, right. All right. The second task, now first task was of course deciding my project scope, right. The second task of software planning is the estimation of resources required. All right, resources can be any, maybe human resources, maybe the computer resources, maybe some software resources that I would require, maybe some external resources that I would require. All right, let us see what is it. It is noted that each resource is specified with certain characteristics such as, first, software resource. I said that it can be a software resource which I would require probably in some module or some external software I require. All right, then that is software resource. All right, then human resource, I said that I of course need human power, right, to manage my particular things. Right, then hardware resources, what all hardware resources I will require. I said computers, I said certain mainframes if I require, maybe some certain type of servers I require. All right, so those all comes into hardware resources. All right, so second task is deciding upon the resources. Right, now there are certain activities which are associated with project planning. Now what are those activities that is associated? First being project scope that we discussed already, second being the resources that we discussed, third is project estimation. Project estimation is the estimation of the cost and estimation of the time that will be required, and it includes project complexity and project size. I said that project size is nothing but the entire project is divided into certain modules, right, what are its functionalities provided, right. So it is divided in conquer approach and project decomposition. My project is divided into many modules, right. Okay. Next is documentation standards. Now what is documentation? All of us know what is documentation. My software cannot work on its own. It needs to be prepared, a thorough documentation should be prepared for it, which is a textual format. Okay, and that textual format will help my user to understand what this particular software is about. Alright, so its importance is documents are the only tangible way of representing the software and the software process. Alright, standardized documents have a consistent appearance, structure and quality and should therefore be easier to read and understand. You cannot have a very hi-fi kind of document which is which is not understandable by my readers. Alright, so it says that it should be very easy to read and understand by the people, right. There are three types of documentation standards. First being document standards governs the structure and presentation. So whatever the structuring of your project is there, whatever you want to present with your software, all comes under first standard, that is called as document standards. Second is document interchange standards, ensures all electronic copies of documents are compatible. So if my documentation is there, it is in textual format, if the same documentation is there in the electronic copies, right, then those electronic copies should be compatible with any other computer system, right, it should be compatible with that. So it is called as document interchange standards. Then third is documentation process standards, the procedures involved in document development and software tools used for document production. Alright, so whatsoever the tools are used, the software tools, whatever is required to develop my documentation, all that comes under documentation process standards. Sixth, 3.6 is version control. Now all of us are using WhatsApp, right? WhatsApp has different versions coming up, upgradation is there, right? We all generally use Android phones, Android has different versions coming up, right? So what is version? Version is something that is advancement in a particular software, right? So version control is a system that records changes to a file or set of files over time so that you can recall specific versions later. So any addition in a particular file or maybe any deletion of a file, alright, all is coming under version control. Version control systems are essential for any form of distributed collaborative development. Why are they essential? They are essential because they help in distributed collaborative development. It can also serve as a mechanism for due diligence for software projects, right? So any of my software project, if needs to get a better efficiency, maybe a improvised performance, then in that case also we need a different version, right? Version control systems keep track of every version of the software. So it keeps track of every version of the software. For example, if you see Android, right? Android has different versions, right? Out of that, which version is a failure, which version is a success, right? So that is, it also helps in comparing the performance. As said, it compares the performance, right? If you talk about Android versions, maybe version KitKat was good. Maybe version Marshmallow is better than KitKat version, maybe, right? So it also helps in comparing the performance of particular versions, working out when bugs were introduced and so on, right? Let us sum up what we have done in this unit, alright. So this unit basically we learnt need for software maintenance, why do we require to maintain our software, alright. Then we saw configuration management, how can we configure our software, what are the essential steps, why do we require to configure our software, right. Then we saw was project planning, that if I am building up some project, it definitely needs a particular plan, right. So project planning. Then documentation standards, because it is one of the most important part of my project, right, preparing a documentation, what are 3 different standards to it, right. Then version control. So last was version control. We will meet in the next lecture for block 2 unit 1, alright. It is all about testing, about quality assurance, quality control management, alright, and we will discuss it out thoroughly. Thank you so much. That's it with block 1 unit 3, and here we complete with our block 1. We will start with block 2 in the next lecture. Thank you all.